You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
87.9.
The truth is out there. Follow us.
We interrupt this program for a special report by WKMU.
Staten Island, New York. Can't sleep, neither can we. Good evening, everyone. Do you have that late night brain buzz going on? Because we always do. And who are we? I'm Blue, and as always, I'm joined by Sky. Sky, say what's up.
What's up?
So, Sky, what's got your brain a buzzing tonight?
Oh, it's a doozy tonight. This has been keeping me up quite recently a lot. I've been reading into quantum mechanics, and it's so fucking confusing. But what I can understand, a lot of it points to one impossible conclusion. We live in a simulation.
You always wonder that, huh? So this didn't help kind of falling into quantum mechanics, right?
No, yeah, I was looking into the simulation for this episode, and quantum mechanics kept coming up, so I read into it, and it seemed so interesting that if we can get this so everybody can understand what we're saying, you'll be freaked out too.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I heard about like philosophical theories and strange coincidences, whatever, being tied to simulation theories, but I haven't heard anything about quantum mechanics. Can you like tell us about that? How does that fit in with simulation theory? And do you really believe we're in a simulation?
Maybe. But you'll understand after we get into it.
All right, yeah, let's get into it. The truth is out there. Follow us.
Well, first, let's get into what quantum mechanics is. And quantum mechanics is a field of physics done with math equations that describes the behavior of the fundamental constituents of the universe. They're talking basically about atoms and particles that make up everyday things. And that they provide a framework for understanding the workings of the smallest entities of our world, which is the atoms and the particles. Which basically means that the math that governs all things in the universe don't work on an atomic level. So when they were looking into quantum mechanics stuff, they kept running into dead ends because the math that governs our world doesn't work the same on an atomic level. So that math that they use, that's what quantum mechanics is all about. So when you hear it, it's not technically a real thing. It's just mathematical equations that work better than the real math that, you know what I'm saying.
Work on a smaller scale than on a real life scale.
Yeah. And that it tells you things that are really strange. One thing is that an atom can be in two places at once. It also says objects can be connected even if they're really far apart, and that's quantum entanglement. It's when two particles get entangled. That's that thing. If you ever saw the protons being entangled, it looks like a yin yang.
Yeah.
That is now linked to each other. So if one goes to the left, the other one goes to the right, and it could be 1,000 million light years away. But if something happens to that one, and it will happen to the other one instantaneous, even though it's
really fucked up,
and that's faster than the speed of light, which is technically not possible. How could they interact through so much of vast?
That reminds me of that Jordan Peele movie called Us. That I feel like had a play in it because her on this life, there's a part of her that looks just like her and is forced to do everything that she does.
Oh, she's entangled with this person. Okay, I didn't get that at first. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I think I'm going to delete this. I won't tell her. It's like, this doesn't make sense. I don't think you understand what I'm saying so far. I'm like, oh, God, we're in trouble if you don't even know what I'm talking so far. But no, that's actually pretty much what it is. It's two things being linked together, and one does something, the other one does it too.
I wonder if Jordan Peele heard about quantum mechanics, and that made him like bug out and be like, let's do a movie on this.
Yeah. You know, a strange thing that quantum mechanics also says is that nature isn't real.
How? Like I grow plants. I see plants outside. Like
like literally the windows open.
It's gonna
be
the there today, tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah.
Unless
is
somebody
it still
steals
there?
it.
I'm not looking at it. Is it still there?
I mean, yeah, and it's always gonna be there. Like I don't know. That's weird.
Well, so it suggests it's not real because something called superposition, and superposition is just basically like let's take that leaf you were talking about on the tree, an atom of that.
I was gonna say I never said there was a leaf on a tree.
Well, I'm saying that there's a leaf on the tree that you see outside.
Okay.
And one of the atoms in that leaf somehow exists in all possible states, and that's what a superposition is.
Mm.
And so you want to tell us what the different states are?
Yeah, I could do that. So you got the spin states, which is up or down.
Yep.
You have energy states, which is ground state or excited state.
Yeah, you know how like grounded means, there's no
Like stand, it's
electricity.
still, yeah, it's
Yeah.
flat. And
Yeah.
then excited is like jumping around.
Around, yeah.
And then there's bit states, which is zeros and ones, which is like in
Computing.
math and computing, yeah. Polarization state, so light, which is horizontal or vertical. Location states, which is could be here, left, or there, right, I guess.
Yeah,
Or like
that's like quantum entanglement where if it's over here, it goes that way. It could be here and then. Remember, I'm not quantum. I said earlier, two things can be at the same place at once.
yeah,
That's what they mean. It could be here
Location
and there
states.
at the same time.
right. And then there's energy levels in atoms or molecules, which is like one. What is this?
You could just skip that. I don't know what that means.
Okay. And then quantum harmonic oscillator.
Harmonic. It's basically the
States.
sounds they can make. So it's grounded, no sounds. If it's excited, it makes sounds. That's what I take it as. And oscillator means spins back and forth. So I'm assuming that sound moves in a particular way. That's a little high above us right now. But think of it like a coin. In physics, a coin it's either heads or tails when you flip it.
Mhm.
But in quantum mechanics, the coin can exist both as heads and tails. And at the same time, with a certain probability assigned to each state. So, when you observe it, it's going to be heads. If you observe it, it's going to be tails.
Okay. They're saying the individual atom of a leaf acts differently depending if someone's looking at it.
Not technically.
But I mean, doesn't that mean that each atom of the leaf acts differently being observed? The leaf as a whole would technically be differently.
See, I thought that's
If
what it meant at
observed-
first, too, and I was really excited. That's what I thought. But according to Meta, it's a bit more complicated than that. Quantum superposition allows for the existence of multiple states simultaneously. So again, since this is mathematical stuff, it's not necessarily like you can see the whole leaf. It's just how on the sub level, that world just acts completely different than our world. Like it doesn't follow the same rules. The physics don't work there. It's like the movie Ant-Man when he gets really small and it's a whole new world. It's really like a whole new world on that level. And so they can't get down to that level size to see it. So they have to use math and to guess how these things work.
Oh, I see.
And what they're saying is theoretically that leaf is acting that way. The atoms are acting that way, not the whole structure.
It's weird. It's kind of like when somebody makes like a picture out of like Legos or something. And then up close, it doesn't look like anything. But when you step away, you see like a whole
like a
portrait
Monet.
of something. So I feel like that's kind of what that is, right?
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
Like, and then even our skin looks like this, but then if you look really, really close, it's probably like a bunch of people running around or like a bunch of little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like molecules and parasites and bacteria and shit. It's bugged out. It's really bugged out.
Yeah. So since quantum superposition allows for the existence of multiple states simultaneously, you could kind of see it as a way that it computes multiple possibilities at once. Because if it's spinning up and down, then it's given all the options it could be. So when you do look at it, it is what it is.
So it's kind of like on an atomic level, everything is preloaded.
Yeah, basically.
That everything's already happened in an atomic level, which kind of sounds like the game setting has the outcomes already set, and like it picks one depending on what you activate as a character.
Yeah, like if you're in GTA, you're not doing anything. Everybody will do its own thing until you try to steal the car. Now he can get angry, or they'll run away, or they'll call the cops on you. These are all preset by the game designer. So when you do something, you have different outcomes that happen.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of sounds like.
Yeah, it does sound like that. Or like the mission doesn't start till you step on a certain spot or something.
Yeah. So since superposition implies that nature is not a fixed, determined world, but rather a world full of probability and fluid concepts, how can it really be reality if it's not constant? You know?
Right.
Because that's how it seems like sort of reality to me. And that brings us to the observer effect, which ties into this because the act of observation influenced the behavior of quantum objects. Again, suggesting that the reality is not fixed and is open to probability out there that we don't know about. By leveraging superposition, the simulator, like the guy who, the person or the thing simulating us, could effectively compute multiple outcomes and making it more feasible.
The act of observation changes the behavior of the particles.
Yeah, each atoms.
And
Yeah.
even its like wave function.
Yeah. I keep hearing this wave function and wave function collapse, and I have no idea. Like, I have an idea, but it really kind of confuses me a little bit.
I mean, what I read about it is like if you imagine the wave function as like a probability cloud surrounding the particle. So like just kind of gas around this object in the middle. And like
I don't think they mean gas. I think they just mean like a cloud of probability.
Well,
Meaning
'cause
it's not really
gas
but the
is a
cloud's not
bunch of-
really but the cloud's not really made of a gas. It's a theoretical cloud.
But
It's
I'm
just
saying
a
imagine
fog around something that has
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was a little confused by how you were saying it.
The cloud represents the likelihood of finding the particle in different positions and states.
Spinning up and down, left or right, here
Yeah.
or there.
And like the cloud can be spread out or it could be localized depending on the system's properties.
That's what confused me too. I think because the system properties just means how it works. It's like how we have
Right.
systems at work to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Mhm.
Each like the leaf outside has a system for its atoms to keep it together and act the way it's supposed to for that leaf.
Exactly.
And yeah, so the wave function collapse is just what happens when it's observed. So the crash is the collapse is basically just saying that is the outcome that someone observed. So whenever
Right.
they make it sound so complicated. I hear wave function collapse, and I'm like that. Like earlier, I'm like I didn't really know, but it's
Mhm.
like it makes sense. It's just not. You can't think of it as a real tangible thing. It's just it's like the outcome of this right now. That's what the collapse would be. Me saying this. It's really weird.
Yeah. And then also some theories suggest that the simulator's observation of our reality could be the mechanism that collapses our reality's wave function.
So that basically means that the simulator who's watching us, their observation creates our reality, making it real for us.
Mhm.
The observer effect in quantum mechanics might be a glimpse into how the simulator observation actually shapes our reality. Think of it like this. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect creates the reality of the particles being measured. In the simulation theory, the simulator's observation creates our reality, making it kind of a quantum simulation,
You know what's really
which is coming out with quantum computers, which you could probably do a quantum simulator on a quantum computer. And quantum computers are confusing as for me because it's like now that I know what quantum mechanics is, like how does that do computers and stuff? But then I realized if two things can like the two things we were talking about, the entanglement, if they're so far apart, you can encode data into one of them, and instantaneously that data will be somewhere on the other one. So in computing, that would be very helpful. You would go past the speed of what a computer can do.
Yeah, doesn't our computers already kind of do that?
No,
If I share a screen with you, you could see everything that I'm
yeah, but it's
typing
not.
up.
This is on a different level. This is mathematics that makes and the particles of each thing, like the atoms on the CPU board, would be used in a different way that would give it endless power and speed.
Okay. Also, all this was reminding me kind of like when you walk into a room and it's complete darkness and you don't see anything. You can't really see anything until you turn the light on. I kind of feel like that's
a
kinda
wave
like
function
quantum.
collapse.
Yeah.
That the point of observation of everything, theoretically, each atom of everything that you see is everywhere. Like it's
Right. It could
on,
be
on
too
a system
because
level
I don't
too.
see it too.
But that's on a system level. That's on a small level. On the whole big level, the real world, us world, it's always going to be there. But on each particle that makes it up doesn't necessarily have to act in a certain way, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like it kind of reminds me of that way of saying it that we have a wall right here. This wall is made up of like ones and zeros, and they put the ones and zeros in a way that it came up a blue wall.
Uh-huh.
It's just more like I don't know. Like when I came into this, I'm like, this is bullshit, but I like the idea of it. Let's get into it. And then I'm reading this. It's like, wow, this is freaky. This sounds like real life.
Right. It sounds like a lot of things in real life, honestly. Hey everybody, it's your girl Blue. Just wanted to take a second to shout out Market Fresh, now open at 150 Greaves Lane, Staten Island, New York. It's a cute little market that's got great prices on everything. Lotto, feeling lucky, beers, $3 White Claws, sandwiches, the best around. pastas? Forget about it. All at your convenience. Open 7 days a week. And if you're local, you'll know them as where the old Sorianos used to be. But this is Market Fresh. Even better. Not a sponsor, but we love and appreciate them, so check them out. The truth is out there. Follow us. So quantum mechanics.
Quantum wow.
Where did that even come from?
Starting to talk like
Where
Daffy
did
Duck.
that even come from? So, quantum mechanics kind of suggests that we're in a simulation and that our reality is real because the ones monitoring us collapsed our wave function into all that we know. Wait, that's weird. That kind of sounds like God.
What do you mean?
Like God observed us and made us a reality and like started everything. Like, because that's what some people believe, that he created everything.
Well,
And so he
that's
was the
funny
one that
because-
observed
yes,
us
'cause
first.
Doesn't like religion say God is everywhere?
Yeah. Yup.
So
He is.
I
and
guess
everything.
technically he could be everywhere if he's an atom, like he's a bunch of atoms and making the world up, and that he's seeing us and seeing what we're becoming.
Bro.
That is interesting. So yeah, I guess there is some philosophical reasoning that could prove not just simulation, but God is real.
No, that is crazy.
But however, quantum systems can exhibit behavior similar to simulated systems, such as quantum teleportation and quantum error correction. And these are basically like A and B are entangled, like we say, other, and if information is put onto particle A and measured instantly, it would affect particle B. And the information that's encoded on A is instantly transformed, no matter the distance, to B.
No matter the
The
distance, I want you to know that deep down inside of me, you are my fire, the one desire, and we are two worlds apart.
Let's get back to
Wait,
work.
this keeps going.
I know,
It
but
keeps going with our thing.
I know that's the only thing I can remember on the song, though.
No, I'm saying like it really goes with quantum mechanics. That's what that song is about.
So, if we were in a simulator, the simulator's observation or interaction with us could be the mechanism that enables quantum teleportation. And they say that this could be simulation based or help the simulation theory, because then that would be able to fix glitches. Say there's a glitch over here, they can go over on this particle, put information on it, observe it right away. Now particle B is switched over, which could be deja vu or like misseeing stuff, because like, oh wait, I thought I saw a pen here, and then you look again, it's a pencil, and it's like, wait, well maybe it was a pencil the whole time because it looks like a pen, and maybe I just thought pen for a second. But what this is saying is that if there was a glitch in it, the simulator can see it right away and fix it right away, which can cause these deja vu moments. And that's
that's bugged
pretty
out.
Yeah, I love this episode. I hope you guys love this too. I hope you're following along. It's confusing for us, and maybe that's why a lot of people don't go into stuff like this, because it's confusing, but it's really interesting.
It is confusing, and like I think people are interested in this type of like topics, but it's hard to find or understand what people are saying because it's all these big words. So I kind of appreciate that we're talking about it and we're kind of breaking it down for people like me to understand.
Well, even me,
because I like science, but a lot of it is like these giant words, and I'm like, okay, forget it.
In fact,
and the same thing with history.
Little behind the fact. I love behind the fact knowledge, by the way. It's one of my favorite things, like behind the fact trivia. Star Wars is the best. I don't watch any of the movies really, but I know all the Star Wars like trivia. Right before we did this episode, me and you were having a conversation where like, all right, let's do this episode. Do you understand it? And you're like, nope. And then, we sat down and we kind of went through the whole thing again and had to write like extra things in and more examples and similes and stuff like that because it's
I'm sorry, but like I'm smart, but
exactly. So if the words I'm using that you can understand, I have to find a better balance, because I think even if you take out the simulation now with the God thing, where like maybe this does prove God is real, like this is a very interesting, like, and it could go into so many different levels, and it could even explain why aliens can travel, because maybe how that somehow they latched onto this quantum teleportation and just sends themselves like one particle at a time or something like that. Like, we don't know what could be done. Like, you can say that's impossible, but that's only as much as we as humans can understand. And so it's funny, like everyone's like, "Oh, it can't happen, it can't be." It's like, well, we don't really know what's for sure because we thought the world was a certain way. Now we look at the world on a smaller level, on a subatomic level, and we're like, this does not make sense. The building blocks of our world are weird building blocks. They they suggest they're telling us in a way that they're not really there, and they're not there until we actually look at it. That is
No, it's fucking weird. I don't know about that one. That one hurts my head a little
yeah.
bit.
If you're listening to this, take a quick second and Google proton entanglement yin yang picture, because scientists have entangled two particles together and took an image of it, and it was a yin yang, which is more interesting than I think people realize, is because quantum entanglement has been a thing since the beginning of time. So if from the beginning of time, these entanglements made yin yang signs, how do we know what the fuck a yin yang looks like? Who told us? Who showed us? Like, when we didn't, it comes from Asian cultures. I'm sure, there wasn't some Chinese guy one time in history who was like, "Oh, look, those particles entangled. That looks just like a yin yang." And maybe we could have came up with the idea on our own, but it is an exact yin yang.
Right.
How?
Right.
And that shows that there's balance, and I hate to go back to we're from aliens again, since we're going to go into a couple weeks, but how would we know unless someone more intelligent showed us that that's what happened? And that's where we got the idea for balance, because if it's here and there, that's balance.
Mm-hmm.
If it's day and night, it's balance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically showing you that everything has a opposite. Day has dark. Atoms has antimatter. There's space where it's like, places, the dark matter. So there's like alternate to everything. So what's the opposite of gravity? No, because gravity is a force pushing down. What's a force pushing up?
Our podcast inspiring all our listeners.
All right, so also, we were talking about quantum computers. Then computers are susceptible to errors due to, as you know, if you got a computer, shit goes haywire all the time. You try to swipe your card at the store and it bleeps you out, says you don't have money, and then you check you do have money. It was just a system error. The more complicated, computing things get, the more errors. Like you see, like you play games nowadays. When I was a kid, I never remember my Sonic game crashing. Multiverses crash all the time because it's more complicated. And they're saying that quantum computers can fix these things with error connection codes.
So this notion stems from the idea that quantum error correction is an integral part of the simulator's toolkit. It could be viewed as a method for the simulator to patch our reality, ensuring its stability and consistency. This process may be similar to how a computer programmer debugs and rectifies program errors. The employment of quantum error correction by the simulator might indicate the simulated nature of our existence. What?
So they're basically saying quantum error connection is like a preset of correction. So if anything goes wrong, it sends out right away and keeps the stability of the computer together.
Right.
So what they're saying is on a larger level, that is, if this is, because one of the things that people say simulation can't be real because of the power that's needed to run a simulator in a computer, we just don't have that. And there's a limit to speed on a computer. So like my laptop right now, I could never run, I could barely run GTA on this. How am I supposed to run a whole universe out there?
Mm-hmm.
So what this is saying is that if this is a simulator, that there's somebody who just, kind of like firewalling everything, make sure everything's good, making sure nothing breaks down, and, fixes these glitches before, like, how we said, like the pen, oh, I thought that was a pencil, or I thought it was a pen, but it's a pencil. They're quick, but the glitches happen because you see it, it's now being observed. I'm sorry. What if that means the simulator is in our minds?
We're the powerhouse.
Well, if glitches and deja vu and all these other things, let's be honest, we all kind of see things at our corner of our eye, and then we look, it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's the simulators in our head is like, he sees it too, is like, oh shit, that's not supposed to be there, fix it. So now by the time, like, because quantum mechanics says that you can do
instantaneously.
instantaneously, You look back over right away, and that shit's gone already. Like, wait, what?
Right.
That's just
No,
a coat
yeah.
rack? That was a person. I swear that was a person.
No, or like, you think you saw somebody walk by and you look and there was nobody there.
Yeah, I remember one time, I swear, I saw a woman walking, and she went behind a tree trunk and never came back on the other side. Like, never
No,
came back
it happens
out.
to me at work all the time. Sometimes I'll hear somebody saying my name.
I hear that all the time.
It happens to me a lot at work, or I'll hear somebody else's name. Like, oh, I thought I heard somebody calling you just now. I'm like, what the fuck?
That could be a parallel universe, which I guess a simulation, like if it was this simulation, a parallel universe would be the same simulation with different factors to see, like, because maybe these simulations are groups of them to see outcomes and possibilities and what people would do. And you can't just run one simulator. Otherwise, it'd be like that one outcome and you need multiple ones. So maybe that's what the multiple universes is, but it was just with other simulators coming through on ours. Like maybe that's what ghosts are. Like, someone phased through even dimensional, aliens are said could be interdimensional too.
Mhm.
Maybe they were from a different simulation. They got out and they're like out here to tell us, and that's why the government doesn't want us to talk to them. I am freaking myself out so much right now.
Bro.
That would explain so much. The government hates the aliens, and I thought it was a religious God thing, and the simulation could be a God thing, so maybe somehow this is all connected. I actually honestly believe that all the weird stories out there are somehow connected. Because a lot of these strange stories, whether it be, werewolves, ghosts, aliens, conspiracy theories, weird stuff, they share similar details in people. Because how would you fix a glitch in a code? Like let's say a video game. When you're playing a video game and your game crashes, they don't know. You have to tell them.
Yeah. Send them a report or whatever.
Yeah. And then after a while it gets fixed. But how would a glitch or anything like that gets fixed? No one sends a report. So the only thing that makes sense is that's why they say, like Santa Claus and God is always watching. It's in your head. Maybe it's because something is in our head. Kind of like, you ever have that feeling like you shouldn't go that way?
Yeah.
And you don't. And then you find out later on, maybe something happens. Maybe that is the simulator. But like, no, we got plans for you. Don't go that way.
See, heaven's got a plan for you.
All right, I think we're gonna end the episode there because I'm
This
stressing
is
myself
freaky.
out.
This shit is freaky. It's
Sorry,
true.
I'm just stressing myself out. I'm not even going to pretend the cops are not banging on the door today because I can't. I'm breaking character right now. I just freaked myself out
The
so
cops
badly.
are already in your head.
Yeah, they already know what's going on, and they're controlling me to change this topic and just to get off of myself. Maybe that's. Oh my! All right, that's it. All right, let's play the music. Hey everybody! Thanks a lot for
Yo,
joining us.
This
Thank
was
you.
a good episode.
I enjoyed this episode. Not only researching this episode.
I feel a little smarter.
Yeah. I do too. And yeah, because I understand something I didn't understand before. So now I hear something, I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. That's actually incorrect. That's not possible during quantum mechanics.
Sorry.
But yeah, thank you for joining in with us. You can find us on wkmu.podbean.com. We have a merchandise there. So please check it out. We got some mugs, which I really enjoyed, the Good Morning Earth mug. I would check that one out. We actually have a couple t-shirts. We have a Patreon if you want to subscribe there. Basically, everything is on wkmu.podbean.com. You can find our merch, our Twitter account, our YouTube account. Anything that we have is there. Me and Blue out here doing the things that we love, and the odds of us being successful at podcasting is incredibly low. But the odds of me existing is 1 in 10 to the 2 million plus. So there's a 10 with 2 million zeros behind it. That was the chance of each and one of us existing. We beat the chances once, we could do it again. So always go for what you love and what you believe in.
Yeah, guys, you only fail if you stop going. So just remember to check in on yourself, check in on your friends, and to love yourself, because we love you.
Yeah, because everyone deserves love, especially.
All right, thanks everybody. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a WKMU production. Signing out. out.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.